Guten Tag, Deutsch 1. Projekt Essen, Project Food, third to the last German project for the year. Okay, the end is in sight, guys. Now, this is what you need to do for Projekt Essen. You need to talk about what you want to eat. Write about what you want to eat and what you should eat. So, in German. Okay. First thing, let's think of one. I want to eat um, a cinnamon roll. Okay. So I have to know, okay, that the word for I is ich. Okay. I wrote, we're going to fill it in this chart here, in this like colorful table thing. All right. And wait a minute. I'm missing my cursor. Where did it go? Oh, seriously. Okay. I'm just going to hit that. That will help me. There we go. Oh, all right. I want, okay. I'm going to say will. That's I want to. Okay. Ich will. So ich will. And then what do I want to do? Because you can't just say I want. You gotta say I want to eat. All right. Essen. Okay, I want to eat. Okay. So want to eat. That's the action, and that's we can have one word in this first yellow box, and it's going to be either want to or should. And then the eat part goes in the next yellow box because we can't have two things in the first one. Okay. All right. Want to eat. And then the orange box is for what we want to eat. That's what gets verbed. Okay. There we go. I'm looking for my cursor again. Oh dear. Okay. To eat. What am I going to eat? Cinnamon roll. So I know that the word is Zimtrolle. And I want to say it's a cinnamon roll, so it's going to be eine. All right. Okay. That's what we want to eat. Now, what should we eat? Let's see. The word for should is soll. Okay. That's what we've been reviewing. Come on. Uh-oh. There we go. Soll. And then to eat, I should, and then eat is already in there in that second yellow box. So what should I eat? Not a cinnamon roll. That's not so healthy. I should eat a salad. Okay. So Salat, okay, is the word for salad, and then we're going to say a salad. Einen. There. All right. I've just created a perfect sentence. Can you do that? Okay. So think through what just happened here. What questions do you have? What do you need to learn to be able to do that? Okay, in the next part of this video, I'm going to go through that. All right, but maybe I'm going to change my location here because the sun is totally in my face and I can't see my screen at all. All right, here we go. Okay, so on the back porch now. All right, what do you need to do to make this kind of sentence? First, you need to know the words you're going to say. So now I'm going to the one pager. All right, the one pager looks a little different. And so we're going to get used to this new structure. It starts with all German, okay, Projekt Essen, okay, which you can read if you want to for practice. It would be great. All right, Project Food, okay. We're planning a class breakfast. Not really, but okay. What do you want to eat? What should you eat to remain healthy? Write as much as you can. It's a writing project. This project is written, all right? Grading. Your answers have to be in German. Okay, and the main thing is you write without mistakes. Okay, your mistakes take points off your grade. There's no number of sentences. There's no, actually, that's not quite true. I would say you probably need to write 4 pairs of sentences. Okay, you might want to write more if you're worried about mistakes. If you can show me at least a few times that you know how to put these sentences together, you're good to go. Okay. Now, you need to know the words. Okay, we're talking about food, so you need to know the words for food. If you click on this document here, okay, my cursor just goes AWOL, you get our vocabulary list. There it is. All right. And you have words like apple. Okay. Now we've got a couple of forms of apple to choose from. Singular, der Apfel, that's apple, just one. And then we have die Äpfel, the apples. And that's because when we talk about foods, sometimes some foods we eat only one of, and others we eat a whole bunch of. You wouldn't want a blueberry, right? But you definitely, well, you probably would want a bagel. Okay, so now we have to have the plural forms of some words. And you can see here the der and die and das are in front of all these words. Der, das, die, das, der. Here, over on the plural side, did you notice it's D, 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 D? It's all D. That's because D is the plural form of the. All right. It's also the feminine form of the. So sorry for the confusion. Thank you, German, for making this difficult for us. All right. D. All right. All of them mean the, but don't put one of those in your sentence. I don't want to see D or der or das in your sentence because you don't use it when you say, I want the burrito. Okay. You would only say that if maybe there was one burrito left. Okay. And your friend comes in and there it is sitting on the plate and you're like, I want the burrito. Don't touch it. Right. Otherwise, you would just say, I want a burrito or I want burritos. Okay. So we don't need this, but this gives us important information. If you want a burrito, where is it? It's der. So you're going to say einen if you want a burrito. If you want a carrot, you're going to say eine. And if you want a roll, okay, you're going to say ein. Ein, eine, einen. I'll write them on the board. I don't have them written down here. That's what you get from der, die, das. Okay, that's why that's there. All right, so you have to know the words. Now, do you have to memorize these words? No. Okay, there's going to be a word bank. There, I'll just tell you that. It's not going to have the English on it. It's going to look like this. All right. Some of those words will not be there. Okay. All right. Okay, now, how do you practice these? Okay, say you don't know the words, but you need to learn them. Okay. Okay, we have some GIM kits that are matching. Okay, those are maybe a little too easy because, when it comes to, well, anyway, it's pretty easy to match, to rule out at least several, 2 or 3 answers for some of these. Okay, if you see the word Apfel and then you see the word bagel, you know that bagel that's not the one. All right, there are a lot of English cognates, and that makes this list hard to study using GimKit. What I would do is go to this. Okay, ich will. All right. So ich will is I want to. I want to eat. Ich will essen. And then you've got to decide Erdbeeren, Erdbeere, or eine Erdbeere. This is strawberries, strawberry, or a strawberry. Okay. This shows you the word 3 times. It shows you the English. Okay. It gets you comfortable with these sentences. And if you really think about every sentence when you do it, this is pretty good practice. I want to eat strawberries. Wouldn't say a strawberry. I want to eat. Okay, einen sandwich. All right. So this is a way to practice that it at least gets you exposed frequently to the test words. But for a lot of these, the English is right there. Okay, so another way to practice is to write those. That's really good. All right. Ich will, okay, a cinnamon roll, essen. Then you have to write eine Zimtrolle. All right, you have to write that. Now, here's the one pager. And let me show you that the word bank that I showed you, that I told you about, is right here. So you can pull that up and then do the Gimkit. I would highly recommend that. That would be a great way to practice. Okay. All right. I'm not going to go into any of these other things. All right. I'm going to show you the quiz, and I'm going to tell you about this word order slide that we started with. There it is. You know what? I'm going to end with that. Let's go look at the quiz. Okay. Here we go. Wait, I have it up. Projekt Essen quiz. All right, write the English for the following words. So this is a translation activity. You've got to know what these words are. Okay, so practice. And at this point, if you're not practicing vocabulary every day, you're going to start to notice that it's harder and harder to learn the structures that we're trying to practice. And that's because you're trying to focus on the words and the word order. So we're going beyond the words to building sentences. And so you've got to do the word, you've got to learn the words on your own. I can't do it for you. We can take a little bit of class time and do a Gimkit, but our class time is really best used for putting these whole sentences together and practicing with each other. Okay. All right, put the English there, and then you put this in English, this sentence. Okay, it's not going to be this exact sentence, but all right. And then, so there's a translation of a whole sentence into English. And then you've got to translate a bunch of sentences into German. There's a whole bunch there. You've got to pick 4 that you can do and write them down. All right, that is the quiz. Okay, and then the test is simply a blank piece of paper, a word bank, and write as many sentences as you can. I would recommend 4. If you really know what you're doing. If you don't, try more so you get in a pattern and you also have some insurance. Okay. All right. I'm going to go to the word order slide. Now, why did I say you have to learn word order? All right. I said it because let's take a look at this sentence about eating a salad. Wait a minute. Did I put Zion in there? It says I should eat his salad. There. No. I should a salad eat. Huh. Okay. That sounds really weird, I'm sure. In English, it sounds weird. In German, it's perfect. Okay. So we're getting to the point where we have to learn that to make sentences in German, they put words in different orders, a different order. Yeah. Okay. When you're in a country practicing, sorry, it's a mad blue jay. Really mad. Oh well, I'm sitting by the bird feeder. Oh well. So if you're in the country, or if you're with those speakers and you hear sentences in a certain word order all the time, if they're saying all the time, oh man, I should a salad eat today, but I want chocolate to eat today, you eventually would just start saying those sentences and not think anything of it. Everyone's doing it, so you'll do it, right? But here we are in the United States, in Lowndes County, in our English classroom, talking English all day, and we only get a little bit of German. You're not going to really get a feel for these sentences. You can also study, you can read, you can watch videos, and you'll be exposed to a lot of them. But these are still pretty simple sentences, and videos and things you come across will probably be harder constructions. So there's this color template that kind of forces us into putting certain words in certain places. if we get used to using this, then it'll be a lot easier. It'll eventually come naturally. Okay. Yellow is the action in the sentence. And if we have more than one word in our action, like I should eat or I want to eat, then the first word goes in the first box, and then any other words have to go in the second box. Okay. And then the thing that we're eating, it goes in the orange box. Okay. That's mainly what we're doing. Okay. And you can use these colors when we're writing our test. Okay. You can We have the laminated version of it. You can use it all the time. Okay. This will help you put everything in the right order. All right. So you get a word bank. You get colors. Your job is to practice and learn these words. All right. I'm going to give you on the board also the forms of ein that you would use. You just have to know. Do you say I eat salads, or I eat a salad, or I should eat salads. Maybe how I should eat a salad. All right. Anyway, um, you definitely don't say I should eat the salad, or anyway. There are forms that you wouldn't say in English, so you don't say them in German either. All right. So we've got the one pager. We've got all of our tools. Let me know if you have any questions. Practice. Okay. Practice your vocabulary. Use these GIM kits. Okay. Try writing a few sentences. And then put the sentences into Google Translate and see what it comes up with. Okay. All right. Das ist alles. Final note, just for fun. Okay. Here I am on my back porch. No, that's not that slide. Here I am on my back porch, and that's my bird feeder. Okay. And so now I'm interrupting all the birds eating their breakfast. Like that mad blue jay. Oh, well. Anyway, welcome to my home. And yeah, hope you're having a great day. Mach's gut. Tschüss.